Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And I have a player for you guys to meet today. His name is Mayan Ahanotu. He is a defensive lineman out of Rutgers. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
Doing fine. Very interesting story that you bring to the table. Of course, your father had played in the game. You obviously Tampa guy. You go to Minnesota now at Rutgers, finishing up your career, and now hoping to follow in those footsteps. The same of which your dad had. So, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where you're from.
Yep. Mine Ahanotu, defensive tackle from Rutgers. I'm originally from Tampa, Florida. Really born and raised in Tampa. Grown up here my whole entire life. I'm actually back in Tampa now training, and it's been a bit of a journeyman for my college career. Ended up at Minnesota, which is a very big jump from Florida, as you may know. And then stayed there for 2 years, and I finished my career at Rutgers.
Gotcha. Uh, Tampa, Florida, Berkeley Prep kid. Let's go back in those early years and let's talk about Berkeley Prep. What do you remember most about your high school days, man? Take me back to those days. Give us a good memory.
For me, I would say I just learned like how to be a man from there. It wasn't actually the school itself. It was just being a part of that football program. Dominic Sile was my head coach, and he's been around in the Tampa area for years. And as soon as I stepped foot on campus, he really just put me under his wing, and I learned a whole bunch of morals and values that how to live my life and how to even instill them into college football or just playing football in general. Because I feel like football definitely imitates life in a certain way. So
Gotcha. And I kind of feel like there has to be some other talent that maybe perhaps we've seen there at Berkeley Prep. Anybody that we know of, perhaps that you had played with way back in the day?
oh, for sure. Well, the first person that I know was Nelson Aguilar. He was one of the first round draft pick. And that was a big name when I was still in the mix in high school. And then I played with Nicholas Petit Frere, who went to Ohio State and now is playing for the Titans. Yeah, there's a bunch of other good players that went on to have great careers as well.
Cool. So again, early on, you're playing against top-notch talent. Interesting. I'm sitting there also thinking again. I mean, I know in my notes, you also did some other sports like basketball. I don't know how much of a basketball player you were, buddy, but obviously football is it for you. So I gotta ask, what is it that you love most about the game of football?
The best thing I love about football is just playing violent and being consistent. I mean, like I said before, I just feel like it teaches you so much about life, and you get the opportunity to go out there and showcase who you are as a person and how you play. You can show that in how you play and how you run to the ball, and just being physical and violent, and how well you execute your job. I feel like that relates to the person that you are outside of football.
Great. And again, obviously your dad played in this game, Chidi Ohana. He played for a long time with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well established career in the NFL. How does his I guess background and success in the sport, how has that influenced you over the years?
I mean, definitely as a kid, I seen him playing, and that just really sparked that fire inside of me that this is something that I want to do with my life. And ever since there, I mean, we've been just working. He's obviously a great help to me, and I can just be able to bounce things off of him. And it's definitely a chasing mindset as well because he has his legacy that he built over the course of the years, and I have the same dream of doing that. So I'll just look at what he did and try to emulate it and be better than that.
Cool. And other than your pops, who were you a big fan of growing up, man? Talk about, you as a little kid. Who was the guy there, and whether it be some guy there at, playing for the Bucks or somewhere else. Who was it that really aspired to be?
Uh, this might sound kind of crazy, but Larry Fitzgerald was like LeBron James to me almost type figure in the NFL early on as a kid. I don't know what it was about him. I just like the dynamic duo. I think of just Kurt Warner and Larry Fitzgerald going at it together, and I just felt like Larry Fitzgerald was just always a consistent player. You can always expect him to perform at a high level every single week, and he's just a great person on and off the field.
Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with that. Professional on and off the field. Gotta love Larry Fitzgerald.
Mhm.
But that's not a defensive lineman. That's a
Oh, you
wide.
said defensive lineman?
No, you're good. You're good. Of course, somebody certainly to look up to. I was
Yeah.
thinking there for a second that it might have ended up being somebody like Sapp, but obviously, you went a different route, which was fine. It's fine. It's okay.
My
So
bad.
maybe perhaps, you didn't get that opportunity to be a receiver, but of course, being a defensive lineman, I'm pretty sure guys like Warren Sapp are certainly on your brain when you're
No, definitely.
way back when. So, um,
I did play a
cool.
little tight end in high school my freshman year,
All right, that's fair. That's good. So, um, all right. So again, finished up your time there at Berkeley Prep, and bit of a culture change, bit of a maybe weather change, going up to Minnesota. Dropping like 30-degree, 40-degree weather or something like that. So huge difference, man. Had to go buy a parka and all this other stuff moving up there. But talk about those early days of you being an early recruit and getting that opportunity.
Yeah. So as a recruit in high school, I really got heavily recruited by Minnesota. I went up there on the trip. I really only took like one visit, and I knew I wanted to be there. Um, it was just the connections that I had with the coaches and everything. And as soon as I stepped foot on campus, it was a great time. I had the people that I signed with and everything, and just spending time with them was awesome. Definitely a culture change, like weather wise for sure. I just remember one of these days, one of my first days as a freshman, it was like -40 one time in the wintertime, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm somewhere I'm not like this is not for me. It was literally like dangerous to be outside, and that's when I was like, okay, I might need to have to go somewhere else. And
Man. Well, I mean, of course, I mean, you did spend some time there. You did play a little bit there, which is fine. I mean, obviously, you did eventually end up transferring, but let's park a little bit there at Minnesota. I mean, obviously, you go there playing against great competition, with great competition. Talk about the guys around you that maybe perhaps influenced you the most.
yeah, definitely the senior leadership I had when I was there. Speaking on Sam Renner, Winston DeLaudibier the third, Carter Coughlin. Those guys are really like three guys that held that D line room together and was really taking charge, which led to the great year that they had in 2019. Ended up beating Auburn in the Outback Bowl. And I mean, those guys are just amazing people. And Carter's now in the NFL. Winston's the D-line coach at Minnesota actually right now, which is crazy. And he's still super young. And Sam Renner, he's played a little bit in the NFL. He was actually a story guy, was a scout team guy for like 4 years, and just kept working and working. Ended up getting a scholarship, and then ultimately playing in the NFL for a little bit. But yeah, those are the guys that just really inspired me. I took little things from each one that helped me become a leader while I was at Rutgers.
And definitely changed the culture there at Minnesota with I love their head coach, man. He's just a great dude to watch there on the sideline and in the press conferences. Very focused, demeanor about him. So anything you got to say about that guy?
I mean, it's just definitely just culture driven. I think him, Fleck, and Shiano have a big culture that they both uphold, and they're not going to go step down from that standard. And I think that's what makes those coaches great coaches and great relationships just to have in general as well.
Gotcha. Well, again, you ended up moving on from Minnesota. Maybe perhaps you just wanted a different environment. I don't know how that worked. Maybe perhaps a little more playing time. Like I don't know what all went into all that, but of course you ended up, landing in Rutgers. So how in the world did that happen?
So we're in order to do that, we're gonna have to backtrack just a little bit. When I was at Berkeley Prep, actually, Greg Schiano had got fired from the Buccaneers, and his three sons actually all went to Berkeley Prep. And so I ended up playing with the twin boys that he has, and we became really great friends. And when Shiano had got fired, he would just come out to practice and just critique things here and there, maybe draw up a little scheme that we can run for that Friday game. and just spending time with him, and we ended up getting a great relationship. I even spent the night at his house a couple of times, just like hanging out with the boys and just having a great time. And so, fast forward again, when I entered the transfer portal in 2020, everything is crazy. The transfer portal wasn't even how it is now. It's a crazy era now. But when I entered the transfer portal, it was like you had to wait a year to sit, and you had to sit and wait. But Coach Shiano had called my phone, and I mean that was really it from there. It wasn't really that big of a choice, and I knew that we ran the same scheme on defense. Wasn't that much of a jump for me to learn, and I just jumped right in, and man, I don't regret it at all. It's one of the best decisions I ever made.
Cool. Definitely had Shiano on speed dial there for several years. So I mean, it's all good. So again, I kind of want to piggyback a little bit about what you were talking about because again, you were saying maybe the scheme is somewhat similar. It was easier for you to pick up. So um, when we talk about that just a little bit about maybe perhaps how you have been used over the years. Talk about your experience along that front, man, because I know you've played. I know you've played the nose in somewhere else. So go ahead and enlighten me.
Yeah. So we play a 4-3 defense, and I started out at Minnesota. I played defensive end, so I started out there at the 5 technique. And then when I moved over to Rutgers, I started out as a 3 technique. I played 2 seasons there, and then my second to last season I had, and then the last season I had, I was going between 3 technique and nose, and then my last year was just 1 technique. So I'm really experienced across the whole entire line, and yeah, I mean, it was really easy to pick it up. It wasn't too much of a jump.
So where am I going to put you on the D line now? I mean, what's your current height and weight? How do you see yourself projecting?
Yeah, I'm 6'4", 300 pounds. I can play nose and I can play 3 technique as well as anybody in the country. So
Cool. Well, I mean, kind of nice. I mean, there's a lot that I feel like you do bring to the table as a prospect. But one thing that comes to mind, man, is really just the fact that you have played with some of the best talent in all of the country. And so obviously matching up very well against those guys. Other than that, man, what do you feel is maybe your best trait as a prospect?
my best trait as a prospect, I think, is consistency. Um, I think just over the years and playing against the best competition, you have to understand that there's not really a drop off when you play opponent to opponent each week. And so you have to have that ability to come in with the mindset each week that you're going to play better and better and better as the season goes on. And there can't be any drop off. Otherwise, you're going to get smacked by the opponent, especially in the Big Ten.
Gotcha. Of course, being in the Big Ten there for all of your collegiate career, with two separate clubs, of course. So, um, I was going to ask you again, just to kind of wrap up things there with your time in college, your final season with Rutgers. What did you get most out of this season? Obviously, the ups and downs and a lot of things happening, and you're watching things unfold. Uh, Talk about some of the highs and lows, man.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people get to build a program up as and really have the opportunity to build a program from the ground up. When I first before Shiano had got there the second time, Rutgers wasn't in a good way, and as soon as I got there in 2020, it was a lot of work to do just to build that culture back up. So we spent like 2 years doing that. We really spent the whole time I was there doing that. And I felt my last year that I had, it was just great to finally leave that place better than how I came in, and finally have a winning record really to stand on that. So it was a great way to go out, and I'm just happy that I could lead my team and help us get better in any way possible.
Yeah, I mean, leaving on a good note with a winning record, being bowl eligible, all those things are great. Of course, you obviously want to, have like the, storybook ending and stuff, with,
Right.
that everybody loves, but, it doesn't always work that way, of course. But um, let's just face it. I mean, now we're looking at you, Mayan, as a professional athlete, as a guy who is ready to take that next step. And of course, after your time there at Rutgers, you end up stepping on the field there at the Tropical Bowl, very close to home there in Florida. So, talk about your experience there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great experience. Just got the ability to showcase what my talent is and be able to perform at all the scouts. So it's really just a great opportunity to showcase what I can do at the professional level in front of the scouts.
Yeah, one thing that I was telling a lot of people this particular season is, there was one All-Star event that went down, and what that really means is a couple of different things. One, obviously, there's less opportunities for players, but another is a lot of that talent's going to trickle down. And
Yeah.
so a lot of that talent trickled down to the Hula Bowl, the Tropical Bowl, the College Gridiron Showcase. So I know that there was a ton of great talent there at the Tropical Bowl that you had to match up against. Anybody there that you were able to really I guess click with or what?
You saying relationship wise or
Yeah,
just
like some relationships or maybe somebody you matched up well against on the line.
It wasn't really. I really didn't get to know anybody that great over my time there. But Chris Hopman Bell from Minnesota, the wide receiver, was there. So I mean, it was just great to see him after all these years. I haven't really been able to sit down with him after a couple of years. And Willie Tyler the third, he played at Rutgers as well with me for a couple of years. So it's just good to see and sit down with them after practice and stuff, and just be able to kick it with them for a couple hours.
I mean, a little bit of a reunion, so to speak, which is
For sure.
nice. Do you have an opportunity maybe to talk to some scouts? I mean, I'm pretty sure some people were down there, obviously checking you out. I mean, did you do any interviews or anything?
Yes, sir. I did. The Dolphins and Saints. We sat down for a little minute and we had great conversations with each other and just getting to know each other.
Cool. Well, I mean, hey, man, I mean, now that you've got like these professional scouts that you're sitting down having interviews with, dude, I don't know if you've had a moment to really wrap your head around that. I mean, Dolphins being interested or some other team being interested, like, how does that feel?
It feels amazing just to know that you're really one step closer for your whole entire life dream that I've had and just been working towards this. It's just really just a blessing just to get that call or text for the interview. And man, I'm just really blessed and excited.
Cool. And again, you were telling me that you were training down in t the Tampa area. What facility are you at?
I'm at Athlete Innovations. It's ran by Cliff Smith and Andre Clark. They do a great job just honing on the techniques for all the drills and everything. And man, I'm really can't be happier with the place that I've chosen, and they've been helping me a lot.
Cool. So definitely prepping yourself, getting yourself ready for your pro day, which for most people sometime late March or whatever. But sounds good, man. Sounds like you got things going on. As you're doing all your prep down there, is there a particular part of your game that you're really trying to get better at while you're down there?
Yeah, just pass rush. I mean, you can always get better at pass rush, and I've been working with Bobby Richardson, and we just been going to work, really just creating new moves and seeing what I can do just to get my timing better, and just being able to have more tools in my tool belt to use against these guys when I get up there in the NFL.
Cool. Well, Mayan, I do want to take a moment to see if there's anything else about you that you want to share before we wrap things up. So, what do people need to know about you as the man under the helmet? You have any interests, hobbies, passions, secret talents, anything else about you that you want to share with people?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really just more of a kick back with the family guy. I have a girlfriend of 5 years right now, and I have a dog as well. So I really just like to go home and just kick it with them and spend time with them because those are the most important people in my life. And besides my mom and my pops and brothers, um, I really just like to be around my family as well. I'm happy to be back in Tampa, and I get to see my mom and stuff. So that's great.
Cool. You said you had a dog. What kind of dog?
It's a hound mixed with a retriever.
All right. So a
Yeah,
little bit of everything. So that's
yeah,
okay.
a little bit of everything, just like me.
Well, no, that's fine. Uh, see if I can get at least one more thing out of you real quick. Uh, favorite movie
Favorite movie?
or favorite movie as of late, whatever, however you want to put that.
Hmm. What's the Will Smith movie? The where he's the only man on the planet in this got this
Uh,
dog.
I Am Legend or
I
something?
Am Legend, yes. I Am Legend is my favorite
Putting me
movie.
on the spot, man. What the heck?
Yeah,
I'm the one doing the interview, damn it. Um, No, it's okay.
Yeah, definitely I Am Legend. It just was like it was a great movie to watch, especially when it came out. I was a little kid, and Will Smith is definitely my favorite actor. Um, and just to see that movie and just him by himself and the dog and the zombies and everything, I think it was just a great movie put together. I'm pretty sure there's a second one coming out too pretty soon.
Interesting. Well, I I like that though. I mean, hey, I mean, I'm a Will Smith fan myself. I appreciate a lot of his movies going
Yeah,
back way back when to the Fresh Prince days, man. I love that guy. So,
yeah,
um, well, mine do feel like we need to wrap up our time. It's been great. I mean, you have a very interesting story about just you overall as a person and athlete. Again, starting things out really strong there in your early years as an athlete and really working yourself up to where you are right now. And that is that of a legitimate pro prospect. So, why don't you go ahead and close us out and tell these teams what they would be getting if they took a chance on you. So go for
yeah. If they took a chance on me, you'll be getting a consistent, violent player who does everything right on and off the field. Um, I'm just a guy who be able to sit in that film room and just digest everything and be able to listen to any coach that coaches me. Very coachable. And yeah, I'm really just a guy that puts his head down and works every single day that he can.
Well, man. Well, definitely a lot going for you as a prospect. Some good size to you, some good overall experience there on the defensive line. So yeah, obviously, you're training right now. So best of luck to you in all this process. I know it's not always easy. And you take care of yourself. Okay.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
No problem. Once again, I got myself Mayan Ahanotu, defensive lineman, Rutgers. Check this guy out.